flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First, we need an approval of the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
First and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Next, we consider the minutes of the February 24th, 2026 regular meeting.
So moved.
Second.
First and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion carried. Any citizen wishing to make a statement during the discussion of any item must first be recognized by the commission chair. After being recognized, that person should state their name and the name of any organization represented. Statements should be limited to 5 minutes. Please silence all phones and electronic devices. Recording the meeting is allowed, and the commission requests that anyone using special recording equipment be seated in the back row to avoid creating a distraction during the meeting. Next, we move on to old business, and there is no old business at this time. Moving on, an approval of appropriations. We have Ms. Smidler, our county clerk, will present the details.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
This morning, we have the 5th batch of 13th month accounts payable register, period ending December 31st, 2025. Just ask for approval.
Okay, do we have discussion on this? I see no.
Pretty small batch, $405
I think this is the last one.
last.
That was my only question.
Okay, ready for a motion?
Mr. Chair,
Sure.
I would move to approve appropriations for the period of February 24th, 2026. On the wrong one. Thank you. Strike that. I would move to approve the 13th month, 5th batch appropriations for the period ending December 31st, 2025, and authorize the chairman to sign on behalf of the commission.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, we had a first and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carried. Next is approval of appropriations, and there again, we have Ms. Smidler will present details.
This is our regular accounts payable register for February 24th, 2026, ending March 10th, 2026. Ask for approval.
Okay, do we have any discussion? I see none, so ready for a motion?
Mr. Chair,
Sure.
I'd like to move to approve appropriations for the period of February 24th, 2026 to March 10th, 2026. Authorize the chairman to sign on behalf of the commission.
And second that motion.
We had a first and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Next is new business, county clerk's office. Once again, Ms. Smidler, hey, you're pretty popular today.
And I don't have a voice to talk this much. This morning, we have batch number 4 of the AAEs presented to us by the appraiser's office. And it's change of taxes, $43,373.52, and it affects 65 records. Just ask for approval.
Okay, once again, do we have discussion? Ms. Smidler?
Mr. Chair, the only thing I want to mention on this is that the oil, whereas they're still playing catch up to get the exemptions done, I think this will be the one good bill that will pass this year. And I believe it's already passed out of the Senate. I'm not sure where it's at throughout the whole process. But what it would do is it would allow the county appraisers to go ahead and exempt oil that produces under 5 barrels if it qualifies and they fill out all the applications and things like that. And so we won't see these big playing catch up anymore. They'll be able to work them right away.
And Commissioner Estveld,
Thank you. I forgot Mindy was here. She knows
Yeah.
what this is at.
a lot of this is actually due to payment under protest on the first half of the December 20th due date, where the real estate was paid under protest. We held those hearings the last week of February. We had 134 hearings. So we're going through making those decisions. So that's where a lot of these changes actually are. There were a couple of the oil and gas exemptions still, but a lot of these were from payment under protest hearings. We anticipate there'll be one more big group like this because we're a little over halfway through working on those decisions and through those appeals.
Good to know. And Wendy, do you know where they're at on that bill? I know that it passed.
I know it
chamber.
passed Senate, but I don't know where it's at in the House.
Okay. You think it'll pass?
I think so.
Thank you, Wendy, for the information. Okay, do we have discussion on this?
Are you ready for a motion?
Yes, I,
Move to approve the listing of added, abated, escaped, refunded taxes as reviewed by the county appraiser and presented by the county clerk's office. Direct the chairman to sign on behalf of the commission.
okay, second.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a first and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Okay, moving on to item B, we have a commission report from Ms. Esfeld.
Okay, boy, did we have fun at Topeka. And it was good. And it was the first time that our county's ever had a table. We have never done that before. And that was kind of cool because I'll leave some room for you guys to give your comments too. But I thought our table was neat because it talked about what we did. It talked about the Travel 389, but we also had on display 2 picture frames that were rolling, showing the courthouse remodel and other projects that we've done. And what it was it was a time that counties could get together and walk around and see what other counties were doing, visit with other folks, as well as legislation to come down and visit all of the tables. I thought it was a lot of fun. I'll see what all you guys thought as well. And I believe, if I remember right, help me out on this, KAC put out some information. I think there were 30 county tables. Does that sound right to you guys?
Close about right.
Yeah, there was an email and I don't recall exactly, but I think it was 30 with well over 100 in attendance. So that was kind of nice. I did see the county treasurers had a table. So I guess we'll expect the county appraisers to have a table next year, even though it's during their busy time of year.
Well, at the county treasurer's table was Jim and Paige. So
Jim and Paige, yeah. So that was
from Barton County as well.
Yeah, that was neat. Good time there. On to other things that on a more serious note than getting together for county government. While we were there, we had the opportunity to testify on House Bill 2745. And I don't want to get in the weeds on a lot of details, so I'm going to hit just the high points that have not changed, because both of the bills that I'll talk about, that one and SCR 1616, are being rapidly changed every day. So it's hard to keep up on them, but I'll hit. So we testified on behalf of Barton County and the Kansas League of Policy Group Makers. And the reason that we testified against House Bill 2745 wasn't that we entirely hated the whole bill. We liked the fact that it would move towards relieving some property tax and relieving the pressure that folks feel on paying their property tax for real estate mainly. But where that bill is at now, with it being changed drastically daily, is this bill would apply a 3% cap on the total amount of ad valorem tax levied for the preceding year. And I always have to reach out to our administrator, Matt Potzner, because I get hung up on throughout the whole process of setting budgets and these sorts of things, where this would take place and how. And initially, I really personally, and I think the rest of us kind of felt the same, we weren't totally opposed to the idea, because there was some relief dollars that would come back to Kansans if you did this. And then you'd have some relief dollars to help pay for services. Well, that was one of the first things to go from the bill. The other thing was it did take out revenue neutral, and that I believe is back in now. So it's changing just real constant. So we'll see how that turns out. We did testify in the Senate, and that bill, of course, passed the House already and has not passed the Senate yet. So it's still going back and forth with some changes there. And the other bill that was a little more, I don't want to say heated, but controversial, I would say, and that is SCR 1616. And that bill has a lot in it. I would say that the biggest thing that I can tell you, and this is being discussed as possibly being a change, but a lot of the heartburn that we had with that bill is that it would roll assess rates clear back to year 2022. Well, the intent was to do a hard reset since values went up so much. Well, we all know that values is, we like to blame the county appraiser because that's an easy target, but everything goes into play there. Our budgets, our mill levy, everything that we do. Well, Our concern with going back was not only the loss in value that every county would suffer, and on behalf of the Kansas League of Policy Group makers, they represent 33 western states. They represent states that don't have Walmarts. They don't generate the sales tax that even we do. They don't have new construction. We don't have a lot of new construction. So this would affect us out west much more when we lose that kind of value. But part of our other problem with that bill was, and we actually testified neutral and I thought it was interesting that and we testified before the House. And one of the House members asked, well, how come you're neutral? It looks like you're against the bill. Well, we weren't against the whole policy. We want relief for property tax owners in Kansas, and we don't want anybody to think that we don't want relief. We've been working drastically over the last 5+ years to try to find ways to do that. But our concern was, and if taxpayers hear that, hey, my property taxes are going to go down, is that true? For some, if you reset everything clear back. But our big heartburn was with the inconsistencies, because if there's been any remodel during that time from 2022 forward, remodel, addition of a garage, addition of a shed, something along those lines, you would be excluded from that cap back to that. And then going forward, it was a cap of 3% each year. Well, it could cause some real inequities really fast. And I'm afraid that if it went before a vote, a lot of people wouldn't realize that. It's not that we're not saying that people are not knowledgeable. We're saying that it's not the daily taxpayer's job to understand how all of this works. And sometimes things can pass that later on are not so good for everybody. So that was our big concern, along with how to implement it. We knew that the complications sounds real easy just to roll back to 2022. Well, I'm glad our county appraiser is sitting here, because she can tell you that it's not that easy to figure out what's capped and what's not capped. And that is where our real disagreement was. And so that's when I'd say I was fortunate enough to get to testify before the House. They asked very good questions. There's a lot of complications with it. It wouldn't take long and you wouldn't know what you were even paying taxes on, because if it was capped somewhere along the whole line, and you might appeal your value, but that very well may not even be close to what you're paying taxes on. So there's just a lot of confusion there. And that worries me that it's a tax shift. And so I've had a lot of discussions with different senators and representatives, as well as county individuals. And I will tell you that I believe when the bill was initially being made, there were good intent. I had a conversation with Senator Tyson last night even on it. And the one thing that we agreed on was that we both want property tax relief. We just don't agree on how to get there. And as she said, and I agree with her on this, there's no perfect solution. And I believe that all of our senators, I believe our Senator Tory Blue, Representative Brantley, and Fairchild all want property tax relief. And that is where the two sides, that's why both bills are going back and forth. Both sides are not agreeing on how to get there. And it's very complex. And so we will be looking at those very closely in the next coming days. Every week is just, I don't know how they do it in Topeka. I appreciate our politicians that represent us here, because I don't know about you guys, but being there 2 days wore me out. It's just nonstop go. And they really are working hard. They get up very early and they work on these bills, and then they hear them. And then at nighttime, they work on solutions and try to how to resolve things. So we can't thank them enough for their work. A lot of times I think that we get hung up in, well, it's the state's fault. Well, it's the county's fault. And I heard a lot of that during the different testimonies on both of the bills. I don't know if you guys noticed that. There was a lot of finger pointing. Well, in part of my testimony, one of the things that I said was, why don't we go back and look at what caused the problems? This whole system, when it was designed and voted back in 1986 by the voters to have property tax to be fair and equal, and the three-legged stool, property tax, sales tax, and income tax, complemented each other. Well, as of the last few years, just in 2024 alone, there were $43 billion in real estate taxes that was exempted. That was just in 2024. We don't have 2025 numbers yet. 7 counties had over 1 billion in exempt properties. And I can tell you the top 5: Morton, Riley, Jackson, Clark, and Marion counties. For various reasons, those counties were the top 5 exempt. So we've encouraged the state to review the structure of our tax base in Kansas and what has led us to where we are today. And I think that was the big takeaway, and that was the reason for testifying, is that it's not that we don't appreciate what they're doing, but we just don't want to see more inequities in a system that has been working. It just, over the course of time with all of these exemptions, and it's just shifted the burden and caused mill levies to go up more. I'm going to leave that with you guys on what your take of the week or the day was.
Okay, well, thank you, Barb. Anybody else have comments?
No, I just, wanted to thank you for your testimony and representing Barton County. It was great that we all got a chance to come in and listen to your testimony as you testified on 2745. What a great job that you did.
Well, I want to tell you guys, it's like this. So I was really nervous, as this is not something we normally do, go before the House and the Senate and testify. And so I was so nervous, but I have to tell you, when all of our county commissioners walked in before my testimony, it was like, have you ever been at a ball game and your mom and dad walk in at the game and you look up in the stands and you feel good? That was my feel good. So I appreciate you guys. I'm like, I can do it. My buddies are here. And we all had talked about it, and we all want the best we wouldn't be sitting in these chairs today if we didn't want the best for taxpayers. And so I felt pretty good having everybody behind me.
We'd have come and stood up there with you if we needed to.
And I would have liked that. Senator Tyson would have had a little concern, but she might have been the one that was nervous.
You did a really good job. And back to when you were talking about the table that was set up, a shout out to Diana and to Ellie for preparing this. The pictures, we had a couple people come by and said, this was the best table there. And so I did think it showcased Barton County really well and appreciated.
I'm glad you mentioned that. They did a wonderful job. I don't decorate things like that. And so it looked nice. And thanks to Diana, there were instructions on how to put things, or else we would have had.
We needed it, but yeah. It was a good day and it was good networking. And so I was appreciated the opportunity to go.
Yes.
Oh, were we the only county that had 2 tables?
I don't know. I think we got the 2 tables because they moved us off in the corner, but
I know, but hey,
yeah.
we were well represented.
Good to go.
And also, like I said earlier, I want to thank Jim and his staff for showing up also. Thank you. And it was really a proud moment when we saw Ms. Esfeld testifying, just one of her own testifying, and we felt like we're making a difference, or at least we're trying to make a difference. So
Agreed.
thank you very much.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
I guess I have a few things I could say.
sure.
First and foremost, again, I would just like to point out that Commissioner Esfeld's a rock star. Thank you for going up there and saying what you needed to say. My big takeaways were pretty much what I thought they would be in some ways and completely different in others. One thing I've noticed for sure is we have a tendency to overcomplicate things in government, from the cities all the way to the federal level. They're looking at these appraisals and capping appraisals and rolling them back and all of this. What they don't understand is all they're doing is adjusting the slices of the pieces of pie people are paying. So if somebody's goes down, somebody else's goes up. That's it. They're not adjusting the size of the pie. And until they start focusing on that, they're never going to get anywhere. And the second thing, capping the counties at a 3% or whatever, kind of forces the counties to raise their taxes to keep in line with inflation. So like Barton County, for instance, we've actually lowered our dependency on property taxes for 5 years in a row now. It would be hard to continue to do that if we knew that 3% was all we could get per year. We may have to take 3% next year and 3% the following year, just because we may have a 6% increase on something. But I think the focus a lot of time is on the counties. And I find that odd, because I think that they probably, most of them understand the way that property taxes work, don't they? we represent 20 to 25% of the property tax bill. 75% of it is going to the other taxing entities in a county or back to the state. So really, I mean, if you're gonna create legislation, you've really got to do it more with the 75% of property tax collections in mind than the 25%, in my mind. That was totally expected for me. What I didn't expect was the enormous amount of respect that I have for our representatives after coming back from that or seeing that in person. Trying to make a difference, even on a 5-person board, can be difficult, challenging, let alone a 125-person board or a 40-person board. It would be a lot. And so you can kind of see when there's that many minds trying to come to a consensus and get something passed, how kind of some odd things get put into there, because that may be really good for a small western county, but may not be so good for Johnson County, vice versa. And that's how that stuff ends up in there. But I was paying attention to Senate Bill 488. And I think are they discussing that one today,
30. I think it's.
right now?
Yes, I think it's an interesting bill.
It's an interesting bill.
To watch.
And what I'm noticing about that bill, it's they're doing a phased out elimination of property taxation and replacing it with sales tax. I think that that's a fairly glorious idea. My concern with it is if they actually phase property taxes out completely and replaced with sales tax, then there wouldn't be really much of a need for the appraiser and much of a need for the commission or much of a need for a lot of us. And I'm not saying that we're not replaceable or anything like that, or maybe if we're not needed, maybe we should go. What I am saying though, is all of these things are in place for a reason. And they've got to remember that. And it starts out with a 50% reduction in property taxes replaced by sales tax. Then it maybe it's 75 down to 50, down to 25. Then out, I don't remember off the top of my head, but to me, a perfect bill would be 50%. Do 50% reduction in property taxes. You wouldn't need as much fee-based sales tax. And then you would still have your appraiser. You would still have your county commission setting their budgets, your other taxing entities setting their budgets, and then possibly tie that in with revenue neutral. I know Beth's going to kill me for saying that, but it has really helped a lot of the, not just the counties, but the other taxing entities hold the line. It really makes people aware that the mill levy, just the mill levy going down doesn't mean your taxes are going down, or the mill levy going up doesn't necessarily mean your taxes are going up. But it's truly the revenue, the ad valorem tax collected out of the budget for each taxing entity going up or down is what creates property tax increase or property tax decrease. And then couple that with how many taxing entities in Barton County? 55?
Pretty close.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew that number, but right now it escapes me. It's close to that though. It's a lot. So everyone, if we're going to see a property tax reduction, pretty much every one of those has to go down. So it's going to be difficult. And they've got a difficult job in Topeka. And that's why I said I've got more respect for our elected legislature than I ever had before. And I wish them the best of luck. Sherry Brantley brought us in, had dinner with us, and what a great lady. I mean, she's really up there going to bat for her constituents. So shout out to Sherry. That's all I had.
Thank you, Mr. Hutchinson. I think we had some really good discussion and a lot of information this last week, so gives us a lot to think about. And you are correct, our elected representatives, they really do work in Topeka. Okay, anything else that you'd like to add yet? Okay, not, we'll move on. Okay, next we have item C, request for proposals, highway striping project, and we're going to have Chris Shards, our county works director, will give us some details.
Morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
Chris.
Barton County accepted proposals for the 2026 highway striping project until February 23rd of 2026. The work includes center line and edge line striping on approximately 97 miles of county roadway that we plan on overlaying and sealing this year. We received 2 bids from Straight Line Striping and Heartland Traffic Services. And they estimated for the quantity of both white and yellow paint, as well as glass beads that provide the reflectivity to the striping. Straight Line Striping gave a bid of $112,311.45. And Heartland Traffic Services gave a bid of $115,350.66. Straight Line Striping's who we've used for years. They work great for us. We have no issues. They do a lot of other counties in the area, Rice County, Stafford County, among some of the other ones. So they work well with us. We have a lot of communication back and forth about, what our schedule's looking at, what their schedule's looking at. And I believe last year they got done in 3 days. So they work relatively fast. So I would just ask that Straight Line Striping would be approved to do the highway striping this year. And if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
On this striping, could you kind of give us approximately where they're going to be doing the striping?
Yes, we're going to be in the southeast quadrant of the county this year, and we're going to get the amount of miles we do every year. We're going to go up to the northeast just a tad. We're gonna go from Dartmouth Blacktop all the way east to the county line and all the way south to the county line. And then we're gonna go north as far as the city of Odin. And we're gonna go east to the county line. So and then we will do a little bit on what us county people call Farman Road, which is about a mile north of the Odin Blacktop, and then east to the county line. That's as far north as we'll go this year. So, the city will go up to the city of Claflin and just a little bit north.
Okay. Alrighty. Any other questions?
Mr. Chair,
Sure.
I just know that over the years, we've used Straight Line for a long time. They provide quality service and they do get out there and get it done right away. And so I think that you've had excellent service from them.
Yes, they've been great. They, like I said, the communication's great. And now, we started out with the father, now the son is doing it. So that's how long we've been using them. So yeah, they do a great job.
It's pretty quick also.
Yeah, I mean, 3 days, and they got in Thursday, started Friday, and he called me Monday morning and said, we're done. So yeah,
So.
Yeah, and it's crazy, when those stripes aren't on the road, how much of a difference it makes. So yeah, it makes a big difference that they get them done quickly.
I'm glad you mentioned the name Farnham. Not very many people know where that is.
Well, when you drive and you're around the county so much, you have a lot of different nicknames, and yeah, we have to throw in nicknames every now, but there is an elevator there, so yeah.
Yes, there is. Okay, any more discussion? I see none. I'm ready for a motion.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I move to award the contract for the 2026 highway striping project to Straight Line Striping Incorporated for the bid price of $112,311.45. Bid cost to be paid from the Road and Bridge Fund, contract construction line 002926250. In addition, authorize the commission chairman to sign the notice of award and the project agreement.
And we got a first and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Thank you, commissioners.
Thank you.
Okay, next we go to computer information. And we're gonna have Mr. Otzner, our county administrator, will present details.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
So in 2013, the county purchased a commercial software package from Computer Information Concepts, Inc., or CIC. The software includes tax administration, budgetary fund accounting, previously indexing and imaging, payroll personnel, and time and attendance. Added since that time are portals for the treasurer and the appraiser. Earlier this year, the county received the annual Peopleware agreement that details responsibilities for the soft and hardware, including response time. The renewal fee that they presented to us was $46,520, which is down from $46,775 paid last year. In addition, after going through the bill, the keyword indexing, which is $840 a year. After reviewing that with staff, we determined that's not used as much anymore. with other technology advancements, there's just an easier way to do it outside of CIC. So we removed that from the bill, bringing the fee to $45,680. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have.
Okay, do we have a discussion?
Mr. Chairman,
Sure.
I'd move to approve the annual peopleware agreement with Computer Information Concepts, Inc. The agreement cost $45,680, is to be paid from the courthouse general account, the general fund, CIC maintenance line 001185476.
Okay, could I get a second?
I'll second that.
First and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries.
Thank you.
Next, we move on to executive session. Do we have a need for executive session? I see none. Okay, moving on to ending business. Following the announcements, following the close of the agenda meeting, the commission will consider the authorization of personnel changes for classified positions. Signing documentation approved during the agenda meeting or signing any other documentation required for regular county business. Similar action may take place throughout the day. Although subject to change, the following appointments have been scheduled at 10:15. Looks like we're a little bit ahead. We're following the close of the agenda, the planning commission or planning session with media consultant. 10:30, regular business discussion, Matt Potzner, county administrator. 10:45, regular business discussion, Matt Potzner, county administrator. At 10:45, request for proposals, CrowdStrike, endpoint protection, Derek Hollingshead, IT director. 11 o'clock, solid waste grant, Jennifer Hamby, solid waste director. 11:15, update on purchase of historic weapon, Sheriff Brian Bellender. 11:30, program update, Josh Beckman, county engineer, Kirkland and Michael. 11:45, program update, Chris Schartz, county works director. And at 1 o'clock, program update, Bev Smiler, county clerk. A county edition, KVGB AM, Thursday at 11:05 AM, Dina Pop, 9/11 director is scheduled for March 12th, 2026. Other business discussion items. This is mainly for the commissioners. Do you have any?
I just want to say that I bet you Dina is almost as interesting as the sheriff. I bet they have very similar stories, whether she's going to share that way or not.
I think there's a lot of things you can't share.
Yeah, I'll have to tune in and see what Dina has to say.
Right. There's always a lot of information though. She
Yes,
has,
sir.
she does. And if anybody, any doubts on how they operate in there, that's very interesting. And I think all the commissioners have been in there a time or two, and it's pretty amazing how they operate. And so efficiently too, also. So,
The unsung heroes.
right, you bet. It's the voice that you never know or never hear. And they really are truly the first responders. So,
Mr. Chair,
yes.
last week was Employee Appreciation Day. There's days for everything, and so, sometimes they get left not noticed. But I want to thank the EEC committee for going over and above. I mean, this little thing might not look like a whole lot, but it's a nice appreciation and a way to say thank you to the true rock stars of the county, the employees. And I think the employees probably appreciated it. But I just think that it's pretty cool that they took the time to remember that and think that those are, is it boss's day and all these things. Well, none of this works without the employees. So that's a very important day. So I want to thank them. And let all of our employees, big shout out to employees, and let them know that they are appreciated. And one more appreciation definitely goes to Ellie Hutchinson. I don't know if you guys read the paper, but that was a pretty good article about our coverage. And that's something that Ellie did that we wouldn't have ever thought to do. And Susan can't go with us to Topeka, although we'd like to have taken her. But it's nice to have that coverage, and it's something that we wouldn't have taken the time to think of. So when I saw it in the paper, I'm like, it's pretty cool. We need to tell Ellie, thank you.
Correct. And I think you're right. I think we talk about the commissioner being these different places, but also Miss Hutchinson is also with us, and she does an excellent job. So thank you for getting the word out and just all the information that she provides for
I see a future governor in our midst.
You know, I think that
Very
we
good sitting in the governor's chair. We got her to sit up there.
got a picture and all to prove it.
We got a couple pictures of her this time.
We did.
She's behind the camera,
Yeah.
but she jumped in the photo booth at
Yeah.
the last second on the one. and-
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, when she jumps in, and she kind of steals the picture.
I know. That's why we don't, that's why it does. Behind the camera.
It's just like, she can pose and she makes us all look good. So. Well, speaking of a special day for everything, next Tuesday is St. Patrick's Day. So,
Okay.
hey,
Good to know.
just for the information, get out there.
FYI, you need to dress for it.
Well, we can. Have
Mr.
something
Chairman,
green and do what Irish people do on next Tuesday, whatever that might be.
It's awesome.
Eat sausage, okay, we can do that too.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I do have an announcement.
Yes,
Our annual evaluation notices have been mailed out. And at this time, the Orca portal, I guess, your parcel search, the values, they are having technical issues, so they have not been updated on that on the website. But if the public would like to use our CIC appraiser parcel search, the new values are available on the website there so that they can review either if they didn't receive it in the mail yet, or if they want to see what their neighbors' values are. It is available there.
do you know about when the okra?
I do not,
Possibly.
as of yesterday, they did not know when it would be fixed either. So I just wanted people, individuals, some I know only use Orca. So I wanted to make sure that they knew it is on the other parcel search. It is available out there on the web.
These okra is really, really popular, so.
Yes.
Okay, any other discussion? Okay, I don't remember where I was. I guess that was citizens and organization represent requests or proposals for the initial consideration.
Our county attorney here is here to
Oh.
give us some news.
Nope, I just popped it.
Okay.
Okay, well, thanks for attending. The commissioners are available to the public on Tuesdays during regular business hours. One or more commissioners may be present in the commission chambers conducting county business throughout the day on Tuesday. The commissioners may individually schedule personnel appointments related to county business at their discretion. And our next regular business will be on St. Patrick's Day at 9 o'clock, Tuesday, March 17th, 2026. And next, I'm ready for an adjournment.
So moved.
Second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Meeting adjourned.
Number on the accident.